Monday. We are here and we are back again and we're doing this. And we're going to talk about you are unique on purpose. Today we're going to be talking about what makes you different, why that's a good thing. We're going to be talking about your worth because, yes, tomorrow the You Are Worthy book is going to be available. Hey Rodrigo, hey Junior, good morning. Jacqueline's here, Blake is here, Nicola is here, hi. So, Derek is here, got the usual crew. Nana, sweet Nana's here. Oh, thank you. Nicola asked where I got this top. My mom got this top for me. I think she got it for herself, and then she didn't like it or it didn't fit her. And then she was like, "Do you want this?" Rodrigo says, I saw the video of Rebecca and Brendan on Dhar Mann Wednesday. I'm not sure if I saw that one yet. The other day I watched about 5 of them, so I was trying to catch up. Hey, Brittany. Elite Games is here. He said, I came into the chat to tell you that you have been my favorite Dhar Mann actor. Very cool. We got a guest. We got someone that wants to say hi. Hey. So we're talking to the people today, and we're talking about what makes you unique is on purpose, and it's for a purpose. Ryan is here. Hi, Ryan. So what is it about you that makes you special and unique? Isaac says you're so cute. Are you?
What's that?
What's that?
The school bell.
Oh, the school bell, yeah. Vanessa's here. Donald's here. Hi.
Donald.
Eli's 4, but he's going to be 5 next month.
Donald is in heaven.
Donald's in heaven? Not yet. Are you talking about my dad? My dad's not. My dad's still here. He's still kicking. Thank goodness. So, are you good? You want to go back and watch your Bible study show? Because if you're going to be here, you can't be like distracting. You want to show them your toy? Somebody's asking what it is. It's Luke Skywalker from Star Wars.
And he doesn't have something on him armor.
And sometimes he's in disguise. Rebecca's having a birthday soon. Happy birthday.
Rebecca.
Yes. Someone just asked. Blake asked, is Eli named after Elijah, the Old Testament prophet? Yeah. Yeah, he pretty much is.
After the old Elijah.
He pretty much is. Hey, Marianne,
after
welcome.
the old Elijah.
So is there anything about you guys that you feel you don't like about yourself because it makes you different, or you feel set apart, or you feel like you don't fit in? Have you guys ever felt that way?
No.
Truth be told, I've never quite. Eli says no. No. Your answer to that question is no. Well, I've never felt like I fit in. And I feel like a lot of people don't.
I feel like a lot of people.
Are you copying me?
Yeah.
Good morning, Orly. You, if you're gonna be here, if you're gonna participate, you have to be an addition to what we're doing, not a subtraction. So Marianne says all the time. I used to really try to like fit in this box or this perception. Delaney says, yes, I felt that way before. Like all these people make it seem like if you just look a certain way, do a certain thing, be a certain way, you try to fit the mold of what your friends are doing. Nicholas says it's easy to get peer pressured. So you try to be this thing, you try to have these amazing relationships with people, but you don't always click, and sometimes you feel like your differences is why you don't fit in. Like, well, maybe if I was more like this, if I was more like them, or your friends, like they do a certain thing, so you think, well, if I do that too, then maybe I'll fit in. I remember I was in gymnastics in high school, but
This is Star Wars.
oh yeah, okay. But all my friends, like one year, they all tried out for, okay, quiet.
This is
My all
really
friends, they tried out for the cheerleading team, and they put a lot of peer pressure on me to become a cheerleader. And so I quit doing gymnastics, which I loved, to go be a cheerleader, which I did not love, because I thought it would make me fit in more. I thought, oh, now I'm going to be with my friends and I'm going to be doing what they're doing. But it just wasn't me. And quit dance for the same reason, and I really love dance. But, sometimes we try to fit in and being this person that isn't really us, to try to fit some kind of, it's like these unspoken rules. So let's see, Derek is having a birthday on the 17th of this month. Well, happy birthday. And thank you for the little super chat. Rebecca said, did your clients read your upcoming books, or are friends going to read your book? I hope everybody does, because I don't think I'm the only one that who has struggled with self-worth issues in the past. So you guys may know You Are Worthy is coming out tomorrow. I've been posting about it. It's going to be available tomorrow. I want everyone to get their copy for 99 cents on Kindle. You can read it on your phone. You don't have to have a Kindle. You can read it on your phone or your computer or iPad or whatever you use. So, available tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the content in here, but it kind of has to do with the topic today about your uniqueness is part of your purpose. Blake says, what exactly does fit in mean? I thought it always meant that people liked you. Yeah, that's what you think is going to happen. You think if you do the same things, or people in general think, if I do the same things that they're doing, then I'll be liked. Marianne says, I'm adopted and many times I have difficulty fitting in with my family. They're business oriented while I'm creative. Yes, that could be a thing too. Like my mom was a nurse, total caregiver. Her mom was a nurse, and it's like, I don't know if I was expected to be a nurse, but I mean, I played one a few times in the movies. Certainly my parents never expected for me to become an actor. I don't think they ever expected me to be a writer either. So we have to do what's in our heart. We have to do what God called us to do, despite what anybody else thinks or what they think we should fit into. Adoption is a beautiful thing. Even though you may not feel like you fit with that family, the fact that they loved you and they picked you and they chose you, that's such a special thing. And some people feel like when they're adopted, instead of focusing on that beautiful, positive thing that somebody chose you, sometimes they choose to focus on the person who gave them up. And I do think that's the wrong focus. Sometimes a parent will give someone up because they love them so much, they want them to have a better life than they're able to provide for them. But that's a whole nother topic. Oh, I dropped my paper. Hold on. Okay. All right, let me see some of your comments. Ryan's here. Maggie's here. Rebecca said, I always wanted to look decent, and I want really long hair, but it won't grow anymore, so I'm learning to deal. Well, if you really want long hair, I mean, you can always get extensions. I feel like my hair is getting too long, so I'm really ready for a haircut. It doesn't look too long when it's like curled up like this, but it's getting so long, I don't feel like it's manageable. I feel like it's weighing me down. Nicola and Junior said, I'm getting your book tomorrow. How about a physical copy? Physical copies are available, but I was really hoping people would get the Kindle copy because I'm going to mark it down to 99 cents for tomorrow only, and then it's probably going to go back up to 6 or 7 or more or 8. I don't know. So it'll be a big discount. I guess you could do both. Do both if you want. But like as far as like sales for my launch day tomorrow, the Kindle is the best because I'm marking it down so cheap. Okay, let me see. Stacy says, would you adopt a daughter? If God called me to do it, I would. If God spoke to me about it and told me to do that, I would do my best to be obedient. I don't necessarily want to start over again with a baby. Marianne says also they have kids and grandkids, and I don't. I'm also the only one that's widowed while they still have their spouses. Well, having loss like that can be tough, especially a spouse you've had for so long. I can imagine part of you really feels missing, and that's tough. Fawn says, I'm chubby and I want to lose that weight for myself, not for others. Any tips? Well, usually I would have to give you a real specific, I would hone in on I would ask you a lot of questions to find out what you're doing, what you're eating. Are you sleeping? Are you sedentary? 4 things that matter a lot. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough sunshine? Are you getting enough water? And are you getting enough of the right food? Not eating food with artificial colors, artificial flavors. Not eating a lot of food in boxes, bags, and cans, and processed food. Eating from nature, right? Eating all the fruits and vegetables and whole grains and beans. Staying low on fat. Like, don't be cooking your food in oil. Like, water saute everything. Oil's like 4,000 calories per pound, whereas like vegetables are like 100 calories per pound. Fruit's like 300 calories per pound. So it fills up your stomach more than when you're eating oily, greasy stuff. Like, you can have 32 baked potatoes for the same amount of fat as like 1 slice of cheese. What's going to fill you up? You're probably going to get full off 2 or 3 potatoes, but you're not going to get full off 2 or 3 slices of cheese. So eating whole foods that have lots of fiber, lots of water content, that's going to be your best bet. So I don't know what your diet looks like, so I can't tell you. Another thing that's really big on weight loss is trying not to snack between meals, right? Because usually snack food is not the healthy food. People are going for chips and cookies and things like that. So if you just eat bigger meals, like the 3 meals, and you cut out snacks in between, that will make a difference too. And are you hydrated? Like, I've been drinking a gallon of water a day. Are you hydrated? Because sometimes we think we're hungry, but we're really just thirsty. Not everybody may need a gallon of water a day. If you're a small person, if you only weigh like 110 pounds, you probably don't need a gallon, right? They say it's a safe bet to drink like half an ounce per how much you weigh. So if you weigh 150, you may need 75 ounces of water a day. That's just a little more than the 8 cups a day that's typically recommended. But I find if you are eating a diet that's high in dried food, like you're eating crackers and cereal and things that are like dry, you need more water than if you're eating a diet that's full in fruits and vegetables, which are water rich. So we could do a whole live stream just on that topic, because I don't think a lot of you guys know this, but I went to school for fitness and nutrition. So, I mean, I don't always follow what I learned, but I know some stuff. I do know a few things on the topic, so I hope that was helpful. Hey, Lawson. CJ Eats is here. Stacy says, would you ever go for an edgy G.I. Jane look? You mean like shave off my hair? I would love to do that for a movie. If I get cast in a movie and they pay me big bucks, I'd shave off my hair for the movie. That'd be fun. Nicola, will you sign your book? That's tough. It's tough because I didn't plan a book launch yet for this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like an in-person book launch. Problem with signing it is a lot of people live like out of the country, and it can cost like $25 to send a book. Like you can probably get the book from Amazon sent to you for only like, I don't know what, $5 or $6. But if I send it to you from America, it might be like $25 in shipping. So it depends if people want to pay that extra cost just to get, just to get it autographed. Okay. So I'm just reading some of your comments. Debbie's asking, what's the topic today? The topic today is that you are unique on purpose, but we've touched on a lot of things. We've touched on adoption and weight loss too. and fitting in, which is actually part of it. So let me see. Molly says, I hope you're doing good. Maggie says, I've always struggled with self-worth because I always compare myself to others and I don't know how to stop. Well, here's one thing that's really cool, which is totally on topic of what we're talking about. You are unique on purpose. Did you ever stop to think that one of the reasons God made you completely and utterly unique is so you couldn't compare yourself to anyone else? You're made different on purpose. We're not all cookie cutters. We're not all fitting the same mold. Do you guys know, well, comparison is a killer. I do talk about comparison in my You Are Worthy book a lot. We just can't go down that road because what we do is we always compare the worst thing in us to the best thing in someone else. So that's not beneficial for anyone. So, Delaney, I used to like to looking in the mirror, but now I don't because I feel so bad about myself. My self-esteem drops a little. But why? It's because of the story you're telling yourself. So if you're comparing yourself to someone and you're telling yourself a story that because I don't look like this, because I don't have this, because I don't have this size body, because I don't have this thick mane of hair, because I don't have this, then I'm not good enough. Says who? Sometimes we can't even believe our own voice. We cannot believe our own assessment. How you feel about yourself does not determine our worth. How God feels about us is what determines our worth. And if we're measuring our worth by things God doesn't even talk about, that God doesn't even care about, right? Like in the book of Samuel in the Old Testament, God talks about man judges, man meaning mankind. You know, when the Bible says man, it doesn't mean man like a biological man. I know some women get mad because people use the word man. Man just means mankind. There's man, like a regular man, and then there's a woman, womb man. Man with a womb is woman. Okay. Man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart, right? I don't know if you guys saw my post from yesterday talking about if I have lived my call and exchanged my life for His, it's immaterial what size my casket is. Our weight does not matter. Our size does not matter. The number in our bank accounts does not matter. None of that does. It all has to do with the content of our heart. So sometimes society makes it be such a big deal that if you don't look a certain way, but thank goodness things are starting to change. More body positivity is starting to come into place. We're not all meant to be the same size. We're not all meant to be the same shape. We don't all have the same genetics. And God made us unique for a purpose. And sometimes people think, well, my looks or my weight are keeping me from having a good life or a spouse or whatever. And that's just not true. 99% of the time, your attitude is keeping you from having it. Because I have seen people as big as trucks in wonderful relationships. It has nothing to do with your size. Your success has nothing to do with your size. There are some caveats. Okay. If you want to be a prima ballerina, you probably can't be 200 pounds. There are some caveats. But if God called you to do something that you feel deeply within your heart, He's going to give you the ability to accomplish that thing, whatever it is. So God created you on purpose for a purpose. That's what I talk about in chapter 2 of this book. On purpose for a purpose. And on that topic, you know, in that chapter I talk about the difference between like Esther in the Bible and Leah. These are both Old Testament characters. Well, Esther was one of the most beautiful people that ever lived. They had a beauty contest going, and the king decided whoever was the most beautiful woman in all the land, she would get to become the queen. And Esther won that beauty contest. And it was for a purpose. Like God gave her her beauty for a purpose. And what ended up happening is she found out there were some evil plans from a guy named Haman. I believe that was his name. And he was going to kill off the Jewish race. He was going to kill off all the Jewish people. That's her people. The king didn't even know she was Jewish. She had to hide it, her heritage, because they did not like the Jewish people. So she had to keep that secret. She was the hottest Jew there was, though. And she found out about these evil plans, and she went and told the king. And she saved all her people because the evil plots were going to happen against them, and they were all going to be annihilated and wiped out. So that's an instance where God can use you if you're beautiful. Now let me tell you about an instance where God can use you even if you're not beautiful. If you're overweight, if people think you're too plain looking, or if people have said you're ugly, or if people have made fun of you because your eyes don't match, right? God can still use you. I've been, my own manager would call me a Barnum and Bailey circus freak. And she made me wear matching contacts. Like when I took my headshots and pictures, she made me wear contacts to make my eyes the same color so no one would know my dirty little secret. You know? So someday God may use me in a special, unique way. Someday I may become notable or recognized because of this two different colored eyes things that some people think is, ew, that's gross. You shouldn't have that or whatever. So then there's this woman in the Old Testament. Her name is Leah. And Leah was supposed to marry, well, the true story is there was a guy and he fell in love with her little sister, Rebecca. And it's, the Bible describes Rebecca as beautiful in form, and she was like just a hottie. Leah was described as plain and said she had like weary eyes, which meant like they were like delicate. They were like light, like they were like a light blue or a soft color, which in those days, everyone like had brown eyes pretty much. The condition of her eyes was such a soft, light blue. People thought it was a blemish. They thought something was wrong with her, and her eyes were always weepy. Anyway, that's kind of beside the point. So the guy worked 7 years to be able to marry her, and it was crazy. The dad did a switch, a bait and switch. Said, yeah, you're gonna get Rachel, the hot one that you love, but he actually made her marry Leah. But the guy didn't love Leah. Jacob didn't love Leah. He loved Rachel. So then he worked another 7 years to get her. So Leah, the ugly one, who, you know, her husband didn't even like her. He wasn't attracted to her. He didn't want to like sleep in the same tent with her. So he was always like sleeping in the tent with Rachel instead. However, Rachel wasn't able to conceive children, even though she was beautiful. Leah, though, started having children. There's actually a scripture that talks about because Leah was not loved, God opened up her womb. You know, sometimes we may think we have this deficiency. We may think we're too ugly, we're too this, we're not enough of this, we're blah, blah. And sometimes God will show us special favor because he knows the world is not going to treat us kindly. So anyway, they both ended up having kids, but Leah had like twice as many more kids as Rachel did. And here's the cool thing. The family line, which our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ would come through, was through Leah's line, did not come through Rachel's line. So Rachel's gorgeous and blah, 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 but God chose Leah, in which would be birthed King David and down through the line, and Jesus would come. So they cast her aside. They didn't want her. They didn't want to marry her. She's ugly. But it was through her family line that we got Jesus. So that's all I'm saying. Let me look at some of your comments before we continue. So we're talking a little bit about what's in the You Are Worthy book, some of the stuff that's in there, and how it compares to you, and why you don't need to compare yourself by these outside superficial things. San Francisco says, Catherine is making me laugh. Love you, Catherine. Also like your hair. Thank you. I curled it for a little get together I had yesterday, and it's still curly. Marianne says, my parents adopted me after having 4 boys. They wanted a girl. Sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I had been born a boy. Well, you gotta work with what God gave you, right? God made you on purpose for a purpose. It's not a surprise to him how you turned out, how you were born. He specifically created you to be just the way you are. And nobody's the same, and we're not supposed to be, and we're not supposed to compare each other. Gregory says, will your book be available on Apple iBook store to buy? That's the only way I buy books nowadays. I don't know. It might be because when I put it on Amazon, I clicked the button that said expanded distribution. Okay, Brittany is saying I would cry, and she's referring to if her head got shaven. I said, I'd totally shave my hair off for a role. I think that'd be awesome. Okay. Junior says I want an autograph. Gregory says, imagine if you shave your head for a Dhar Mann role. One of those videos where somebody gets cancer. I wouldn't do it for that. Someone would have to pay me like $10,000. Then I would do it. I wouldn't be afraid of it, but I would have to be compensated well. You know, for some of these big budget Hollywood movies, that's nothing to them. That's a drop in the bucket. Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking at some of your comments. Oh, hi, sweetie. What's going on? Oh, I see. I see how you are. Tessa's here. Via says some people talk about grades like they're an accessory and how it's connected to their worth, but it's not. You could get an F and it doesn't make you any less worthy. Has nothing to do with your worth. It just means maybe you could have studied more, maybe you could have known the content more, but it's not a reflection of your worth. It may be a reflection of whether you studied enough. Here's the thing. If you take a $100 bill, it's worth $100, right? If you take that $100 bill and you spill grape jelly all over it, it's still worth $100. If you take that $100 bill and you bury it in a bunch of mud, it's still worth $100. If you take that $100 bill and you run it over like 600 times, it's still worth $100. Your worth cannot be lessened by anything that's been done to you, anything that you've done. Your worth cannot be lessened. You are worthy no matter what. You are worthy no matter what you've been through, no matter what somebody has done to you. That doesn't lessen your worth. God thinks you're amazing. He loves you, and your worth is amazing no matter what. Your worth is not lessened no matter what kind of muck and junk are put on you. And I want you to remember that. And I want you to remember that visual whenever you make a bad decision, or whenever somebody does something mean to you, or whatever you think you've done wrong, that does not lessen your worth in God's eyes. Jarrell says you have to find what works for yourself. You can't please everybody. You absolutely cannot please everybody. Even if you did everything right, even if you brought about world peace, some people would still think you stink and they wouldn't like you. Hey, Christine. She's watching from Ontario. Wonderful. Life of Jeremiah is here. Hi, Jeremiah. Rebecca says, do you know people with really long hair? Giovanna's got pretty long hair. When she straightens it, it looks really long. Yeah, I know a couple people with really long hair. Nicholas says, you're a lifesaver. Oh, thank you. Nicholas says, if you sign a copy of your book, I'll pay extra. Yeah, it wouldn't be for the autograph. It would be for the shipping. Delaney says, I know what my purpose is. God has talked to me and has shown me signs. It can just get difficult when people try to stop you, but nothing can stop you from God's will from happening. You guys have plans. You guys have like ideas of what you want to do with your life. You guys have dreams, and that's all part of your purpose. And nobody and nothing can stop you unless you let it. Do you know, chapter 3 of my book, I start talking about how you are God's favorite creation. Some of you may think other people are better than you, but they're not. Marianne says, my purpose was to be my parents' little girl, then to take care of my husband through his illness. I'm struggling with knowing what my purpose is now. Yeah, that's understandable. And you know what? On one of these upcoming lives, I want to talk about purpose and how to find your purpose. I've already been like taking some notes on it. I've been taking some notes on it. Aiden's here. Let's see. Okay, so Aiden, you can ask your question. I don't always answer them the second they pop up because I may be talking about something else. So Anandit's here. Hi. Delaney says, my first purpose was to help the family that God had given me, but then he told me that he doesn't want me to do that anymore because he doesn't like the way they're treating me. Okay, and sometimes our purpose will shift and change. It depends on the season we're in. I've had different purposes all along the way. Did you guys see the video I put out? I think it was last Saturday, called The 5 Things I Wish I Had Known About Self-Worth. Was it in that video? Or maybe it's the video I have coming out Monday. Maybe it's tomorrow I have a video coming out where I talk about how my purpose has changed and shifted, and that's okay. Nicholas said, did you know Mikey spoke up and I cried? I'm not sure what you're talking about. So no, I don't know what you're talking about. So Delaney's saying God is redirecting me, and that will happen. So just be open. Just be open to God moving you into different things. He wants you to do different things, and it might not be the same, and we can't get stuck into thinking, oh, it has to go this way, it has to be this way. Here's the thing. Sometimes God will tell you something that's sort of tied and connected to your purpose, but it's part you will accept. It's a part you can get on board with. You're not totally freaked out by. It's a step in the direction God wants you to go. If he showed you everything all at once right now of all you were meant to do and accomplish, you would not even start. You'd say, oh no, God, not me. I can't do it. That's too much. That's too big. That's... If God would have, like even 5 years ago, I could not have imagined going live every Sunday with you guys. And I've been doing it for 2 years. because I was like, what would I say? Who would want to listen to me? Why would anyone come? What if somebody asks me a question and I don't know how to answer it? I had a million excuses. So, but each step along the way, you're discovering, I can do this. This isn't so bad. Maybe I'm meant to help some people with this. Whatever your gift or calling is, that's another reason you can know what your purpose is it using my gifts? Is it using my talent? Is it, most importantly, is it working through the hearts of mankind? Hi, Frank. Is your gift and calling and your purpose, is it helping people? That's huge, because nothing we do is ever just for ourselves, just for us. It's gonna affect other people. It's gonna work through the hearts of mankind. If what you think your purpose is a completely selfish pursuit that helps no one but you, I have to question if that's really your purpose, or if that may be just a dream or a fantasy or something. All right, let me check out some of your comments. What do we have here? I'm backing up to go back and look at a few. Donald says, God made me worthy to show how you can still function in life with depression and PTSD. Okay, so you're going to use something that you've struggled with to help other people. And that's beautiful. And that's the reason I do what I do. Because I struggled with unworthiness, with low self-esteem, with self-worth. Now I'm able to turn the lessons I learned into a book to help other people who are struggling with the same thing. So Donald, think about how can you help others who are struggling with what you're struggling with, because they can see you and go, oh wow, he's still able to do this, he's still able to function, he's still able to, even with these things saddled on him, he's able to make it through each day, to get out of bed, to do what he needs to do to take care of himself. So that's huge. Even if you think, ugh, I got this thing, show others how you can go through life doing what's good and helping others, even if you have certain issues that you don't like. Oh yeah, Brittany's hair is like down to her butt. I was just trying to think of the people like I've seen recently, but yeah, Brittany's got super long hair. Junior Batty Cat says, I think in second grade, I had this old friend group and I would always make bad choices, so I couldn't fit in with them. Well, it might be a good thing that they didn't let you in their group if you were making bad choices, because you could have taken them down with you, Okay. Brittany says, looking forward to getting the book. Whoop, whoop. Okay, thank you for the gift, Nicola. And it says, looking forward to the book. Nicola says, I cried when you made that video, the 5 things I wish I knew about self-worth. Oh, Mikey Cato finally spoke out. Oh, during the protest. Oh, I thought you meant like after. I saw the video where he was just saying how tough it was on his Instagram. Stacy says, it's true, the protesters are making snide remarks about Katherine again. Oh well. Oh well. I have a poem that's I wrote that says something like, so let them all speak ill of you. That cannot change God's will for you. So soon they'll have their fill of you when they see what God's going to do. Let them talk trash. When you talk trash about people, that's just putting trash on yourself. Let's speak love and peace and kindness and blessings. Let's all love each other. Can we just agree to love people even if we disagree with them? Right? Love people even if you have a completely different point of view. That's a novel idea. I saw Jamie Lee Curran post this yesterday that said something like, I don't remember who the quote was by, but it said, if you're wondering who should I love and how long should I love them? How about everyone and forever? What they do doesn't have to determine whether you love them or not. You can totally disagree with someone's choices and still love them. Someone could be leading a lifestyle that you think is totally wrong and you're totally against, and you could still love them. You may not love all their actions, you may not love what they do, you may think they're hurting themselves, you may think they're hurting others, but no one ever changed from someone hating them. Have you ever changed from someone hating you? Have you ever had a hater who is constantly putting you down and telling you everything that's wrong with you, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so right. I'm gonna change tomorrow. Never. No. But you might have had somebody in your life who's pouring into you, who loves you unconditionally, and they're pouring into you, and they say something like, when you do this one thing, I find it really harmful. I find it really hurtful. And, could you think about maybe making some different choices or doing this differently? You're more open to hearing. You're more open to receiving. Nobody ever changed from a hater spewing hate. So if you want someone to change, how about quit nagging them? How about quit putting them down? How about quit finding fault in them? How about start looking for their good traits? How about start looking for the things they're doing right and bring those up? If your husband's got a lot of bad stuff he's doing, bad traits, bad whatever, how about instead of constantly pointing out those things, you start telling him 3 things every day that, Rebecca, Brittany's hair is real. A real. I've seen it in person. Some people's hair does grow that long. How about if you start pointing out 3 things each day that you love about them, and you tell them, I love how you always take care of me. I love how you, whatever it is that they're doing. I love how you always stroke my face at night before bed. I love how you look in my eyes when you talk to me instead of talking to me while looking at your phone. I love how you cook dinner for me. And you just, every day, you tell them 3 things you love about them. When people know how much when we know how much we're loved and appreciated, we start to try to want to do things differently, Okay, I'm gonna look through some of your comments because I think I've missed quite a few. Jordan says, I've been watching you and listening to you for years. Sneha says, when's your next video on Dhar Mann? I don't know. I mean, I've shot a few that I think are not posted yet. Sometimes they don't post them right away. I just had one come out recently that I'm like, oh, I don't even remember. We must have shot this a couple months ago or a few months ago. I didn't even remember till I saw it. Marianne said, that's what my parents said when my dream was to work on music and theater. Ironically, that's how I met my late husband. Aww. Delaney says, the thing is, though, that I'm still with my family and they won't let me do what I need to do because they think I can't protect myself if I need to. I can't really comment on that right now because that would be a whole deeper conversation. So keep praying about it and maybe do your best to express to them how much this dream means to you, and tell them you're thankful and grateful that they want to protect you, and then ask them, how can you help me fulfill my dream and keep me protected at the same time? Because this is very important to me. Can you help me get some kind of a plan in place that will protect me and will keep me, from certain things that you might be thinking is going to happen to me? Via says, do you think talking about controversial topics are toxic? No, I think nothing can be worked out in life unless it's talked about. We should talk out controversial topics. But here's the thing, you have to be in a conversation with someone who's got, even if you disagree on stuff, that they have enough emotional intelligence to hold a conversation with you. See, here's how some people are. You get in a controversial conversation with someone who disagrees with you, and when they can't listen to your point of view, or they're so frustrated, or they don't have a good comeback for what you're saying, like they can't refute some of the stuff you're saying, they'll just make some comment. They'll just make some comment about you, that you are this thing, whether they say, oh, well, you're against women. You're against women's rights. Or they'll say you're just a homophobe, or you're just what are some other ones people use? You're a misogynist, or you're, I don't know, people call a lot of names. Oh, you're a racist. So some people think when they don't know what to say or whatever, they think if I just call you a name, then everything you've said is all completely disqualified. But that's not always true. Sometimes people make valid points on certain things, and the other side doesn't have the wherewithal, emotional intelligence to be able to hear another point of view or another side, or to talk things through and explain why things are the way they are. Like, for instance, I went to a tea party on Friday with my friend Ariel. Maybe I'll post some photos of that. Ariel is a mixed race woman. She's black and she's white. And so we were talking about something, because I had just read a book on this girl's mixed race journey. I was asking her some questions about race, and what black women have to deal with compared to white women. She's kind of straddled both worlds, and she was talking about how some people would ask a person of color these questions, and they would be totally offended and say, you should never ask those kind of questions. And she's like, people should ask whatever kind of questions, because how are you going to know otherwise? How are you going to know how somebody feels, or what somebody thinks, or what's good and what's not good? And as we got to be talking about, in this book, they were talking about the difference between race appropriation and race appreciation. So this particular topic had to do with braids, and specifically like when black women wear braids in their hair, and how it's gotten to be, that's one of the things where certain black women will be offended if they see somebody of another race wearing the kind of braids that's predominantly known for black women. Does that make sense? So this book was talking about, can you do that because you appreciate the beauty and culture of that race, or does that always come across as you're taking from us? That's the appropriation. This is our tradition. This is our culture. Are you just trying to take it from us? And she was saying, my friend Ariel, who's mixed race, she was saying, if somebody of another race wants to wear the little braids in their hair, why not? She was saying, why not let them? Why get offended? Why stop them? She said, because if it's true, it's my friend Ariel saying, if it's true that it's wrong for any other culture to wear braids in their hair, she said, then wouldn't it be the same wrong for, say, someone born with naturally curly hair, like her, like a black woman? Wouldn't it be wrong for you to straighten your hair? And she's telling me this, and I was like, that's really interesting. I've never considered that. So she's got this unique point of view, because she's, she had, I think she had a black dad and a white mom, I think. So I just find her point of view interesting. But some people would say that is completely wrong. You should never do that with the braids. And she's saying, well, then why do sometimes you straighten your hair? So just interesting perspectives. Now that could be a very controversial topic. You know, black women and their hair can be a controversial topic that some people would be offended that a white woman would even ask them about. You know, so it just depends on how open you are to have a conversation with people with different cultures, different upbringings about what they've experienced, what they've not, what's okay to talk about, what's not okay to talk about. I've had some different run-ins on some of these things in my own life, and people being upset by certain things I did, and which, okay, I'll just say it. I'll just spill the beans. I've never told this story before. So back in the 90s, I was a kid in high school, and there was a popular like black clothing company. It was called Cross Colors. I don't know if any of you would know that because you may not be as old as me, but it was called Cross Colors, and they had cool clothes, and it was predominantly, I think it was a black company, and I had some of their clothes. And I was up in Minneapolis with some friends, and there was a black woman who tried to attack me because I had a Cross Colors shirt on. And she was so angry and so offended that I was wearing it that I literally had to hide in the bathroom of a White Castle restaurant so I wouldn't get beat up. And I wasn't trying to, like, this was before all this PC terminology. I didn't even know the word appropriation at the time. And I would have never thought I was stealing or appropriating someone else's thing. I just liked the clothes. I thought they were cool. I don't know. I didn't know it was wrong. I did not know it was wrong for me to wear this shirt. So, but some people saw it as like appropriation, like you're taking something from us that is only meant for us. So again, that could be a whole nother live stream, or we could talk about, race, appropriation versus appreciation. And I'm not an expert on it, so maybe we couldn't do a whole live stream, but just talking about different points of view and how we're raised. What's okay, what's not okay. We may always offend people, not because we're doing something intentionally, not because we're trying to hurt someone's feeling or take something from someone. We may just see something and not know. Like, for instance, there was the whole coronation thing yesterday. Somebody became king or something in England. I wish I knew more about it. But I saw my friend Nick show a picture on his stories, and it had the queen sitting there with her scepter, with her crown, another crown in her lap, with her cape on, and it was pointing out all the things that she was wearing that was stolen from some other culture. And it was meant as like, the way it was presented was kind of meant as I put down. Like everything this queen has on, none of it originated from England. She stole this from Nigeria. She stole this from it started listing all these countries where what she was wearing was stolen from. So it gets to be really tricky unless you know everything about how do you know where anything came from? Like, who invented the sweater? Am I stealing the sweater from some other... Right. Like, those are things that I feel like the devil tries to fix our mind on to get us off what's important, to get us off connecting with other people, being kind, being good human beings. Do you want to get dressed every day worrying about, is my wardrobe going to offend somebody? Am I going to, like, my mom gave me these earrings. These are pretty cool. Look at them. It's like got a lion. Is that a lion on it? It's got like a lion on it. Somebody could be offended by this. They might say, well, there's no lions in America, so you're stealing these from some... People are going to get offended. That's the thing. People are going to get offended, and there's nothing you can do about it. All we can do is do our best to be kind, do our best to know what's right and wrong. Some people might be offended if you, like, some people get offended on the freeway if you change lanes, even with your blinker on. If you don't, they just might be mad that you went in front of them. We cannot keep up on all the people in the world who are going to be angry and offended. We just have to do the best we can to live our life. Boy, I got totally off topic today, didn't I? I have no idea how we got to this place, but we're here. And let me look at some of your comments. Frank says, I feel I have many purposes for the greater of mankind, and I can always improve myself for others. You help so many people, Catherine. You deserve some kind of an award. I think you guys just being here and having an open mind. Have an open mind to different things, different points of views, and being able to show love to the unlovely. Let's not just love the people who are kind and nice. Let's love those jerks too. Let's make picket signs that say love the jerks. I don't know. Let's go around marching around the neighborhood with love. Love everyone. Love the jerks. I don't know. Catherine, I have your pesky poems book. I need to read some more of it. My favorite poem is in that book. My very favorite poem is in that book. So, read more of it. Gregory says, love the shade you're throwing at them. I'm not even trying to throw shade. I'm not even trying to throw shade. I'm saying, let's love each other. Even if we don't understand each other. Let's try to understand. Let's have some of these controversial conversations. Via says, society tends to compare us with other people. It seems like when a student gets above average exam, they're happy that people are not doing as well. Yikes. I see, and I can't abide with that. I can't be like, look at me. I'm an A student. You losers only got B's and C's. Bad for you. Ew, that's gross. Who does that? Right? That does not determine your value. Okay, let's see. VS is asking, why would Dhar Mann not want to meet with the protesters / the Good Works gang? I don't think it had anything to do with not wanting to. I think when you're a busy executive running a studio, that's why you have a team of people. You can't be everywhere all at once. You can't do everything. And usually there's a process you go through. You don't necessarily go meet the boss. When you have an issue, you usually go through a chain of people. Like whatever company if you're working at a company that has more than like 5 or 10 people in it, you may not get to meet with the boss initially. It may go through a chain. So they sent the guy who runs the studio to meet with them, and they sent the HR person to have the conversation with them. They chose to walk out of the meeting. They chose to not share their concerns because they wanted the certain person. They wanted Dhar to be there. Well, he wasn't. What can you do? You can't always get what you want in life, but like if you had an issue at any other studio, you're not going to meet with the person who runs the studio. If you have an issue at Warner Brothers, you're not going to meet with one of the Warner Brothers. If you have an issue at Tyler Perry Studios, you're not going to get a meeting with Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? There's a chain of command that you have to follow. Sometimes when you have any job you have a problem with work, you're going to probably meet with the assistant manager or the manager or the HR. Maybe if it escalates and gets to a different point, it might get to the owner of the company. The owner of the company is not always even usually there. Like, I think Dhar comes to work maybe 1 day a week at the studio. He does most of his writing from home, so I don't think it had anything to do with him not wanting to meet with them. I just feel like the chain of command was not followed. we do everything decently and in order. We have to follow the order of how things go. So I don't understand it. I do not understand it. If it were me, I would have met with them and I would have voiced my concerns and then saw, did this happen? Did this work out? Is anything here? Are we being heard? Are they taking it to Dhar? Are they sharing the concern with Dhar? Are we seeing some changes? Then, if not, if we're not seeing what we hope for, then maybe resort to a protest. Cool, it's America. We have that right. It's a beautiful place to live because we can share how we feel. We're allowed to go picket. But to not even voice your concern, like I remember in the thick of the protest when they were at the building doing it, I remember talking to Dhar about like meeting with them. Do you know why? He did not even know why they were protesting. He didn't even know because they never told Reuben, and he didn't even know why they were protesting. So he was like, it was revealed later when they started making all the videos, what they were saying that they wanted. We wanted a day rate, we wanted more pay, we wanted whatever. But he didn't even know what they wanted because they walked out of the meeting. I am totally off topic from my from my talk today. I don't know if I answered all your questions. I certainly didn't get to all the things on the list I wanted to talk to you guys about your purpose and why you're unique. But guys, do me a huge favor and go pick up this book. It's available tomorrow. I'm marking it down to 99 cents for one day only. Get your version. Get it on Kindle. It's going to be 99 cents. You can read it on your iPhone. You can read it on your computer. You can read it on your iPad, tablet, whatever. You are worthy. Available on Amazon tomorrow, 99 cents. I guarantee it will bless you. I guarantee you will feel better about yourself. I guarantee you will get so much out of this. Because this is like 20 years of my learning poured into this book of how I got to feel from worthless to now feeling like I could become a world changer. So let's get on board with that, okay? Available tomorrow, Monday. Get your copy. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.